Hey, what's up guys? It's Kegan, and today we're going to be going over some more viral welding videos for you. I've been in the welding industry for about 10 years now, and I was a traveling pipe welder for the last 6 years. So let's get into these funny videos and see if there's some truth behind them.
Advanced welding technique. When welding in the field, you will come across tight areas and objects blocking your field of view. This is where we implement a technique where we look through the gap. Putting in a root while looking through a gap can be a very useful technique that will help you stand out amongst your peers.
Yeah, so this video right here from the Weld Cartel, they're talking about looking through the bevel whenever you're welding. This is probably the top most important skill to have in the welding industry, because if you can look through the bevel and put your root in on a piece of pipe, you can make any weld out there as long as you can mirror weld. So that's the other phase of that question, is if you can mirror weld and if you can look through the bevel, you can make any pipe weld out there. So the first one that you probably need to learn is looking through the bevel. So I always tell people, before you leave welding school, make sure you look through the bevel and can put a root in. I left welding school without really honing down on that skill, and it caused me to have harder situations out in the industry. And if you want to get better at it, the fastest way to do that is preferably not on a job to where you make mistakes. But again, if you're like myself and you had to kind of learn it on the job, let's say you're looking through the top bevel and you're welding, and you look through the bevel. And again, when you're looking through the bevel, it's a pretty far distance if you're on 6-inch pipe, 12-inch, etc. So what you want to do is move your head farther down towards the beginning of the puddle. So a lot of people, when they start welding on the bottom of a piece of pipe, they will go underneath of it and weld and look. And looking through the bevel keeps you from having to crawl under the pipe and weld. But you can slowly work your head up the side of the pipe as you practice and get better. So instead of being on the bottom, you can move your head slightly up more and weld it. And then the next one, do it again. Move your head slightly up and weld. I wouldn't go straight to looking from the top of the pipe through the bevel all the way down, just because it's hard, because you don't understand where things are at yet. But if you move your head over and slowly work your way up to the 12 o'clock position, that's generally the fastest way to do it, instead of just straight going into the fire and messing up tungsten. So again, look through the bevel. It's going to save you in a lot of spots and on a lot of jobs.
Telling you this and not hiding it because I'm still learning. Yeah, it sucks, but it's what makes a welder what not to do in the next weld. We learn from failure, not from success.
Man, that's so true. In welding, you can learn so much by just welding and welding and welding. But the real learning, like this video says, it comes from the failures that you have. When you bust a weld, when you fail an x-ray on the job site, and you have to go back and fix that weld. Now, it's only really a big problem if you never spent time learning how to fix your mistakes. That's something that I wish I had focused on in welding school, is fixing my mistakes. When you have the opportunity to fix a weld, make sure that you learn how to fix it. And also, you learn what you did wrong. So, failure is a part of welding, and you're going to fail constantly. You're going to fail all the time. But over and over again, you're slowly going to build good habits that keep you farther away from failure. Because once you do something for a certain period of time, if you enjoy it and if that's what you want to do, you will find the fastest way to get from point A to point B within that scope. So for welding, you're making a weld, fastest way to finish that weld and make it shoot x-ray and keep your paycheck coming in is to not make those mistakes. So after several mistakes, you're going to cut those out, and you're going to continue to do what is right to make those welds pass. And so after a period of time, you'll build habits, and that will keep you from busting welds. So it will seem at a certain point in time that you cannot fail welds because you've done them the correct way for so long. So always fix your mistakes and learn from them, and then next time, don't make those mistakes.
When performing TIG welding on stainless steel, if a large gap, such as over 1.5 millimeters, requires root pass welding, the following guidelines should be followed. It is recommended to use a lower current, 50-80A, to control the penetration depth. The arc length should be maintained at 1 to 2 millimeters to prevent excessive arc length, which could lead to porosity or weld collapse. For filler welding, use small Z shaped weaves or the dragging technique to ensure a uniform weld bead and avoid lack of fusion. Employ either the continuous wire feeding method, where the filler wire is continuously fed into the molten pool after its formation, or the drip feed technique, short, intermittent wire feeding to prevent burn.
Yeah, I like this video. Again, you're going to get big gaps in the welding industry. You're going to get tight gaps. You're going to get big gaps. If it's a tight gap, you're going to have to rip it open and rebevel it and weld it. Or you can just crank it up and hopefully you blow through. Or you can, again, like the video says, turn it down and weld, put the root in. The start of this video, it seemed like he was a little bit hot still because it took him forever to get going on this weld. But yeah, turn it down, and I move the wire to each side of the bevel wall. So he kind of keeps his wire in the center and constantly feeding and constantly just doing this. But yeah, I would turn it down a little bit more than he has it, and then follow your wire with the bevel there, and then creating the root, and hopefully that passes X-ray. So yeah, turn it down, and I move my wire left and right.
All right, all my entry-level welders, man, this is my tip for the day. Make sure that when you get out of school, that you take initiative to get your TWIC card, and you take initiative to take the OSHA 10 class. You need these two certifications when you're working in this field. Number one, your OSHA 10 certification. This is gonna allow you to be able to have access to all construction sites. This is it's not gonna knock you out the box whenever they're looking for you.
So this is a huge, huge thing in the industry nowadays. You have to have a TWIC card to get on a job site, and you have to have your OSHA 10 for a lot of places as well. Now here at KWI, we get you your TWIC card and we get you OSHA 30. So that's a huge help to get you into the industry, and it's way easier to get your foot in the door with those two things. Let's say you're someone who doesn't have your TWIC card and you don't have your OSHA 10, and a company calls you and they have two candidates. They have somebody who has a TWIC card and an OSHA 30, and there you are, you don't have a TWIC card or an OSHA 10, but you both weld really good. They're going to pick the person who has the TWIC card and the OSHA 10 because they don't have to pay for them to get that training. So it's super important to obviously have the TWIC card and OSHA 10, but if you already have it coming out of welding school, that's just another leg up on getting you in the industry faster. So yeah, TWIC card, OSHA 10, gotta have them. Yeah, so this is how to do a drip cap on pipe. Again, this is a freehand technique. Some people walk the cup and put a cap on. Some people freehand their cap and put it on. More specifically, this is a drip cap. There are several different types of freehand caps that you can do, but one that's been really popular lately is this drip cap. And all you're doing is kind of like welding aluminum. You're gonna add wire to the puddle, pull it out, move up the pipe, add wire, move up, add wire, move up, and you just do that over and over again until you get the cap that you want or the style that you want. And the cool thing about it is you can make it your own style. You can do it your own way. And sure, there's not too much creative expanse with that, but you can kind of make it your own little thing and put these little things in it that are relevant to how you weld and your style. So it's kind of like putting your signature on a weld. That's what I like to look at it as. And a lot of guys say your cap's your signature. So yeah, try it, freehand cap. Don't be too crazy with it. You want to make it look good. You don't want to make it look sloppy, because if done poorly, freehand cap looks horrible and it makes you look like you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, that's how you do the freehand cap. Practice it on some pipe before you do it on a weld in the field. And also make sure your company's cool with it too, because some are not. All right, guys, so those are the videos that we reviewed today. Hopefully you got some great advice out of that about a welding technique or something that you may need to practice for your future weld test or job coming up. Until next time, my name is Kegan, and if you have any really cool, funny welding videos you want me to review, put them in the comments below. If you want to learn more about how to weld or get into the welding industry, just check us out at kwi.us, and I'll see you on the next one.